Hi, I'm Merrick or MerrickVT, and today we shall continue part 3 of Blue Toad Murder Files, the mysteries of Little Riddle. So let's get to it.
I am your loquacious narrator for this episode of the Blue Toad Murder Files. Will you be able to solve the mystery of the concealing flame?
Really, darn it. I should just the whole continue thing. We do it. Come on.
I am your loquacious narrator for this episode of the Blue Toad Murder Files. Will you be able to solve the mystery of the concealing flame? How many of you are playing? Do tell. Choose your celebrated Welcome, one and all, to Little Riddle, a picturesque village where simple neighborly folk live lives lives untouched by the hustle and bustle of the outside world. A sanctuary from the pressures of all things modern and unnecessary. A peaceful place, a gentle place. A place where the mayor and the miller were brutally, horribly, violently murdered. The miller killed the mayor, then was shot down in turn, the perpetrator unknown. Even as you investigated this, Riddle Manor was robbed by the church groundskeeper, Moses. Though you led the authorities to him, they are having no luck in getting answers from the light-fingered gardener, nor in recovering a statue he stole.
So, you won't talk, eh?
That's right.
We'll soon see about that. They haul crack in the end, you see, Constable? Yes, sir. Only, yes, indeed. They haul talk to me, in the end. Mark my words, son, I'll have this one singing like a bird shot. What's that noise?
As smoke rises from the town, the constable is dispatched to find out what is going on. Inspector Bragg turns to you.
I'm gonna take this here miscreant back to the station. I don't want you following him and me. All right. Now get going. Sharpish.
The inspector leaves you little choice but to head toward the smoke. The acrid evidence of conflagrating combustibles leads you towards the town hall. It's nice and easy. The scene at the town hall is one of action and panic. A group of people have gathered, watching whilst others attempt to extinguish the flames. The clerk too watches as her place of work burns. You wonder how long it will take to extinguish the fire.
A blazing trail.
The town hall is on fire, and water is being carried from the river in an attempt to put it out. Can you work out how many trips are needed to extinguish the fire? Let's see how you did.
Correct.
That's the ticket. You're finished. That was quick. Hoo, hoo! No mistakes made. Show off. Look around you and be comforted. You are better than they. The fire is expertly extinguished. You manage to gain the side of the slightly singed secretary. Her reaction to your arrival is unexpected.
I'm not at all surprised to see you here, no. In fact, I'm very glad. You are my hope. You will find who did this.
So, no particular pressure then. You ask your eager informant for all the facts she can give.
The fire started in a corner of the archives, I'm told, in one of the cabinets. The archives are usually empty, but today we had 4 visitors in short order. The colonel, the doctor, the librarian, and the jeweler. Any one of them could have started the fire. That's all I know. What do you intend to do now?
The weight of expectation sits heavily on your shoulders. A burden you welcome, but one better borne after a night's rest. Mind Earl, you head for the hotel. Go on then.
You have a visitor.
This is Watson, one of the best noses in the business and a loyal Blue Toad agent. However, his arrival has caused some degree of consternation.
I see. So this is yours? The brains of your operation, clearly? Sorry, that doesn't cut it. I'm married. Right, your pilfering pooch has snaffled the sausages. That'll cost you.
You protest that so upright and noble a beast as Watson would do no such thing. Demanding more details, the hotel manager explains the situation. Someone's been eating the hotel sausages. Help the hotel owner to remember what happened. Simply press the X button to continue when ready. Let's see how you did. Oh, sorry. Come along now. One more try. Let's find out how you did. Oh, please. Would you like to try that puzzle again? Ducks! Drum roll! Splendid! Oh, I'm sorry, I dozed off. Are you done? Great. Oh, and look, you took a few goes to get it right. Oh, bless. You participated.
So sorry about that. Just can't trust anyone these days, can you? Don't worry, we'll just execute them or something. There's a room available on the upper floor. If you won't mention this to the wife.
You settle in to your new, much larger room. Content that, with Watson at your side, the secrets of little Riddle will soon be laid bare, and the malcontents and miscreants brought to book. A new day and a new case to solve. Someone is responsible for the blackened mess that is the town hall, and it will be up to you to learn the truth. You will need to be paying attention as you investigate this day. Let's find out if you are, and see if you can answer my questions. You know, I could have done Shakespeare. A crowded audience hanging on my every word. Where did it all go wrong? It's time to begin your investigation and meet with the 4 suspects. There is no need to panic if there's more than one location available for you to investigate. Simply press left or right to examine your options. You find a full house at the surgery. The doctor himself is seeing to Mrs. Gossip, promising to speak to you momentarily. This leaves you with the other elderly lady. She has revelations of her own.
I'm her sister, dear heart. Mrs. Bothersome's my name, but don't assume it's literal. My, what a proud beast you have there. Let's see him then. Up straight. Bad posture. Just check the... Yes, that all seems fine. Not at all shabby for a mongrel. Reminds me of my old mutt, Sparkles. Let me tell you about him.
Seems you have little option but to listen.
Sparkles and the Slippers.
Mrs. Bothersome will tell you a story of when her dog Sparkles buried her slippers in the garden. Can you work out where the slippers were buried?
Oh, Sparkles, my lovely dog, in peace you rest. He couldn't stop messing around. Small thing he was, but strong enough to carry around my slippers. Sparkles liked to bury them in my garden. No other thing was so amusing for him. Oh, my garden, a blessing from God, so green, so fertile. Damn dog had to always bury the slippers on the grass. Sorry, I shouldn't curse Sparkles. I loved him, but he couldn't bury stuff on the ground. Oh, no, that wasn't classy enough for my slippers. Anyway, picky dog he was. Maybe he learned that from his owner. Ha! Well, from the many spots on the garden, he always chose the one next to a plant. Good thing he never disturbed them. My lovely plant, so tall and majestic, so green and shiny. Not only next to a plant, but the spot had to be in between 2 of them. Oh, and the water, source of life and home to my many fine toads. Sparkles was a thirsty dog. Just water, you know, but he was drinking all the time. His spot for the slippers was always next to the pond, so he could drink a bit after so much exercise. Oh, Sparkles was so particular. If you took a look at the 8 spots around the burying place, you'd see how it was the only one surrounded by 2 ponds and 4 plants. Damn dog, but I loved him so much.
Eeny, meeny, miny. No.
Just give
was
up.
wrong. Don't give up yet. Another try, surely. Oh, dear. Giving up so soon? Stand aside, dear heart, and watch how it should be done. It would appear that Mrs. Bothersome has many such stories of Sparkles, but the arrival of the doctor and Mrs. Gossip curtail any additional precipitous perambulation down memory lane. You ask the doctor about his visit to the archives.
Quite. There's a good canine. Where were we? Yes, I heard about the fire. dratted nuisance, really. I'm a bit of a history buff, you see. I was using the archives for my research. I was planning to do a little book on local history.
He researches more than books. Oh, you are awful. Come and see us later.
Anyway, I have other patients to see. I'm afraid I must chase you all out for the time being. Shoo now!
It's a certainty that something else is going on as regards the physician and the archives, and a later visit to Mrs. Gossip or Bothersome appears an unfortunate necessity. A most agreeable facet of an investigation is that you meet new people every day. Of course, they tend to be suspected of murder and arson, but you can't have everything.
Ah, it's you! How marvelous! What are you investigating? Do tell! How terribly exciting it must be to be a great detective! You must tell me of your adventures, but first, a test! Must beware of charlatans! See if you can solve my little conundrum.
This way. Can you arrange them so that they answer the riddle? Simply press the X button to continue. Are you marvelous or moronic? No, that was wrong. Would you like to try that puzzle again? you show intellect or idiocy? Ah, I see. Try again, perhaps. Or did the nasty puzzle scare the ickle player? Were you paying any attention? Watch me. Simply press the X button to continue when ready.
I say, well, proof positive. Gosh, how wonderful. What times you must have. Reuniting lost loves, saving young gals from their dastardly guardians, so that they may marry their impoverished but noble true love. Ah. Oh, I'm sorry, Poochie. Now, what was it I can do for you?
You mentioned the fire at the town hall, and that she was one of those who had visited. What had she been doing?
Oh, am I a suspect? How thrilling. Gosh. Wow, that's made my day, let me tell you. Terribly sorry, but I was just there to sort out the filing system. Bit of an obsession, I'm afraid.
Turning down the chance to regale the librarian with tales of your daring do, you leave the library and the most eager suspect you've ever had. The normally effervescent jeweler is utterly enwrapped and fails to detect your approach. She does not miss the abrupt attention of your shorter colleague, however.
Oh my, sir, such a terribly cold nose. You have me at a disadvantage. To take such liberties with my state of distraction. You are quite the cad.
You apologize for Watson, who seems unlikely to repeat his invasion so all-pervasive as the lady's perfume. To draw the conversation onto safer ground, you ask what she's doing.
Why, I recently purchased elements of an antique necklace, the string for which has long ago perished. I was attempting to reconstruct the item, but I am now in such a tizzy I may never be able to finish.
Far be it from you not to take so subtle a hint.
Words of
The
wisdom.
necklace that the jeweler is trying to reconstruct is missing a few pearls. She knows the value of both the finished piece and the individual pearls. Can you use these values to work out which pearls are missing? Simply press the X button. spot on!
Oh wow, I thought it would be Wong.
Great Scott, that was fast, and without a single error being made. There are no words sufficient to describe your brilliance.
How gallant of you, coming to my rescue at such a time. How can I ever repay the kindness of strangers upon which I so rely?
You bring up the issue of the town hall, the fire in the archives, and her presence there shortly before the conflagration consumed so much of the building.
I do seem to intersect with your investigations, do I not? You must think me a bad, bad girl. I fear that I must disappoint, as I was in the archives only to research this necklace. To no avail, I might add. Still, I might try again elsewhere. After all, tomorrow is another day.
The conversation is rapidly heading south, so you leave as quickly as is polite. When you visit him at his own home, the Colonel seems engaged in proving once again that military intelligence is a contradiction in terms.
Front and center, quick as you like. Now then, ducks. Jolly disorganized lot, don't you know? No discipline, not a feather. Been trying to instill some organization into this lot. Quite hopeless. See if you can whip them into shape, what?
One colonel and his ducks.
The Colonel is trying to arrange his ducks into formation. Can you follow his rules to place them in their correct positions? Let's see how you did. I think not. Oh, now, no giving up. Give it another go. What will the ducks reveal? Exactly wrong. Don't give up yet. Another try, surely. will the ducks reveal? Shame that. Oh, now, no giving up. Give it another go. You've given up, proving that you are no match for that puzzle. No rewards for you. Here's how I would have done it.
I would have never guessed that.
That's the spirit! The ranks always respond to the Sergeant Major, what? Ha! I say, fine hound you have there. Hunting beast, eh?
You quickly ask the Colonel about his presence in the Town Hall archives on the day of the fire.
Simple enough. Doing a bit of reconnaissance, don't you know? Scouting out the terrain ahead, looking through Burks and digging up the history on that damn fine filly up at the manor, what? Ha! Always good to have something to talk about next time I visit the front lines. The old campaign is going jolly well. Keep mum, though, eh? Loose lips, sink ships, Mwah! Mwah!
Unable to bear any more nodding, winking, and mixed military analogies, you resume your investigations. Now you have met with your 4 suspects. Have you learned anything useful? Have you been paying attention? Let's see how you do with these questions. Sometimes I really don't know why I bother. I'm afraid that wasn't a very good attempt. With those questions done, you... Wait! What's that I hear? Something happening at the antique shop? Quick! I'd head over there if I were you. Following my rather superb advice, you rush to the antique shop. Something has certainly transpired here, and inside you find a man who appears to be rather shaken.
What? Who is it? I'll get you. You coming in here, stealing my antiques?
What immediately draws your attention is the classical statue the man is clearly guarding. Between you and the shop owner is a broken objet d'art. Perhaps if you reassembled it, he'd realize your intentions were honorable.
7 years bad note.
In the altercation at the antique shop, a valuable stained glass antique was broken. Will you be able to reassemble it? your result is... Ah, I see. Come along now, one more try. Are you correct? Let's see. No, 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 no. You're surely not going to let this beat you. Try again. And your result is... I think not. You're surely not going to let this beat you. You've given up, proving that you're no match for that puzzle. Oh, no, 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 no. Look, here's how.
Thought you'd come back for another try, hmm? Wait a minute. Oh, better. Now then, you're not my assailant. What can I do for you then, hmm?
After a little while, you manage to explain who you are and ask what happened. Did the gentleman see who tried to steal the statue?
No. Now then, didn't get a good look at him, I'm afraid. Had a hat on, pulled down low. Asked to buy my statue. I said no. So, he tried to take it.
You ask about the statue, mentioning it bears a strong resemblance to the one Moses took from Riddle Manor.
Well, so it should. There were 3 made, each with...
Oi, that's quite enough of that. This is a police investigation, and this is a crime scene. I want no more interference from you. Out, sharpish.
You're left with little choice but to depart. But your mind is in a whirl. 3 statues. Was the one Moses stole one of these 3? Though the the fire was only this very morning, the ever-efficient clock has matters well in hand, and the redecoration of the town hall has already commenced.
Good afternoon. I am, in fact, very glad to see you. It's been a most trying day, and I find myself at quite a loss. I had a very precise filing system, but I'm now so tired I cannot seem to remember how they were arranged before. I wonder, could you perhaps sort them for me?
The clerk needs help with arranging the archives. Can you use her rule to work out how they should be? How did you do? No. Try it again. You know you can do it. Let's find out how you did. No, 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 no. Try it again. You know you can. You're giving up? Well, probably for the best. Here's how I would have done it. With the filing system arranged appropriately, you ask permission to head down to the archives.
I am sorry to have to inform you that the inspector has insisted you be granted no access to the archives. He has declared them a crime scene and quite inviolable. So as long as I'm on duty, he said, I am not to let you pass. However, I am off duty this evening.
You appear to have more allies in this investigation than the inspector. From the moment you're ushered into the abode of Mrs. Bothersome, you are keenly aware that this isn't going to be easy. The corpse of a sherry bottle is silent testament as to the afternoon's activities. You soldier on regardless, and eventually ask what the issue is with the doctor.
Oh, I'm sure we just can't say. We certainly can't, not out loud. Just wouldn't be polite. Exactly. Indeed. Do have a piece of shortbread.
You're about to protest when you glance down and notice that the proffered biscuits are more than simply sugary sustenance.
The secret
There are
of
6
shortbread.
pieces of shortbread, and each has been cut in half. Can you place them so that they show a hidden word? How did you do? Correct! What, finished already? Oh, and aren't you the smug one? No mistakes. Well done. Please take this moment to look as smug as possible. You make the bold assumption that the doctor is arranging assignations with the librarian. Your assumption seems correct, as you are answered with a great gale of girlish giggles.
Oh, absolutely. So bold and brazen. Mind you, he's not the only one to have shown her attention. Yes, well, we don't need to be spreading such nonsense now, do we?
That Mrs. Gossip shows a certain reticence in discussing this story is unusual, but you catch her eyes flicking to a picture on the mantelpiece. In it, the constable stands beside Mrs. Gossip, and her every inch the proud mother. Armed with more information than perhaps the old dears intended, you depart. You arrive back at the hotel in time for dinner, so you head straight for the dining room. However, nothing is ever simple in this establishment.
Oh, no, I don't think so. No dogs in the dining room. What? No unaccompanied dogs in the... Look, get this lot seated. I'll get the mutt before my wife sees him. I'd like to live through the night if that's quite all right. Come back, you mutt!
Once again, you find yourself working for your meal. You quickly find out why the manager was so keen to fob you off with seating his latest, rather eccentric guests.
Tables and gentlemen.
There are 8 men waiting to dine in the hotel restaurant. However, they are rather picky about who they'll sit next to. Can you seat them in a way that pleases them all? Simply press the X button to continue. marvelous or moronic? Oh, please. Try again, perhaps? Are you correct? Let's see. No, that was wrong. Come along now. One more try. Ducks, drum roll. No, that was wrong. Would you like to try that puzzle again? A cunning tactic, making yourself look stupid so the villain will relax their guard. Well, you did your best, such as it was. This is how to do it. Simply press the X button to continue. With the hotel manager in pursuit of your canine companion, you manage a relatively pleasant meal. As you enjoy coffee and biscuits, your thoughts are interrupted once more.
Never mind.
Watson has brought you the newspaper clipping you were sent by Mother, the head of intelligence of Blue Toad. You hadn't noticed the photo on the back, clearly labelled as being of a portrait loaned by Lady Snobbish to a London gallery. Her great-grandfather and grandmother are shown. The lady is wearing a familiar pearl necklace, and a very familiar statue sits on the table beside the couple. Suddenly, You have two places to visit this evening. The time is near when you will be asked who you believe the villain to be. This evening may reveal a vital clue, and you will need to be alert. Are you paying sufficient attention? Here are some more questions for you. Sometimes I really don't know why I bother. I'm afraid that wasn't a very good attempt. Let's resume the investigation. You were going to meet with Lady Snobbish at the manor, and also investigate the hopefully now deserted scene of the crime. Despite the late hour, Lady Snobbish is content to entertain uninvited guests. The fact that you wish to discuss her ancestors may have something to do with it.
You see, my family have been here since the Norman Conquest. There's a connection to Henry VII, apparently. We have several documents that prove it, though I've never had the connections explained simply. Perhaps you could try.
The lady presents you with a number of musty documents and a hopeful look. Still, this should be fun. Lady Snobbish claims to be a direct descendant of Henry VII. Can you follow her line to prove this?
Now,
Let's see how you did. No. Don't give up yet. Another try, surely. Let's see how you did. Exactly wrong. Would you like to try that puzzle again? Let's find out how you did. No, that was wrong. Try again, perhaps. Yes, you go back to your needlepoint and leave the puzzles to the real detectives. My, wasn't that painful? Look here. This is how it should be done. Lady Snobbish is delighted with your explanation. While she's still in a good mood, You ask about the necklace, showing her the photo. Had she sold it? The atmosphere cools instantly.
That necklace hasn't been in the family for some time. My father took it with him when he left. Now, I should like you to leave. It's rather late, and I'm tired.
Slipping into the town hall is far simpler than you'd anticipated. Without the supervision of the redoubtable clerk, the painters have slipped off to the local public house. Nevertheless, you must be swift in your quest for answers. To the archives!
The shortest route.
You want to get round the archives as quickly as possible. Can you work out the shortest route? Ducks! Drum roll! Shame, that. Oh, now, no giving up. Give it another go. Eeny, meeny, miny. Oh, sorry. Don't give up yet. Another try, surely. Are you marvelous or moronic? Oh, please. Oh, now, no giving up. Give it another go. Did you show intellect or idiocy? No, no, that was wrong. Come along now, one more try. I'm shocked. Really? I never imagined you were such a cowardly quitter. Well, you did your best, such as it was. This is how to do it. As you wander the forests of filing, this coppice of cabinets, you chance upon a vital clue. Buried beneath a tumbled desk, pushed aside by the firefighters, no doubt, you find a slightly scorched, utterly empty paraffin canister and a surprisingly intact box of matches. Your faithful hound gives them a good solid sniffing. Oh, Joe! With a single yelp, Watson lays the case bare. In an instant, you know exactly who used the materials you found to set the fire in the archive. It's time to go to the police. Only the constable was on duty when you arrived at the police station. Inspector Bragg was called for, though he remains to be convinced of the need to get him out of his bed.
You have been lucky so far with your wild accusations. You had better be more than lucky this time. Come on then, sharpish now.
There were 4 suspects, 4 individuals who had visited the archives at the town hall. The colonel was apparently searching for more information on Lady Snobbish. Had he found something, perhaps regarding her father, that he felt needed covering up? The librarian and the doctor were using the privacy of the archives for their clandestine meetings. Was there something even less innocent about their encounter that day? Was one of them being less than honest with the other? The jeweler was researching a valuable necklace which had left the possession of the Snobbish family under mysterious circumstances. Had she found evidence that would prevent her making a significant sale? One of these individuals has been caught out. Which one?
Who done it?
Can you deduce the culprit and prove yourself worthy of your role as a blue-toed detective? Player 1, you get to choose first. Select your villain by pressing the corresponding button on the controller. Thanks to the arrival of Watson, the best nose in Blue Toad, you now know the guilty party is the librarian. When Watson had a sniff of both the librarian and the arsonist's tools you found in the archive, he let out the same yelp. If the librarian had hoped the fire would destroy the evidence of her crime, she is about to receive an unpleasant shock.
You had better be right about this. I don't want to be disturbing honest folk at this time of night. Come on, Constable. Well, come on then, Sharpish.
Yes, yes, sir. Only
what, Constable?
nothing, sir. You used your talents to select the correct suspect. Many congratulations on a job well done. The librarian has been working late and is just locking up when you all arrive.
Ralph, what's...
Maggie,
That's enough of that, Constable. Madam, I'm asking you to accompany me down to the station to answer some questions about
It was me.
Eh? It was? I confess. You've dragged it out of me. Why, you ask? What would you know of my motives? You, with your leaden souls, dragged down by earthly matters. I did it for love. Yes, for love.
For that doctor, you mean?
Doctor? Ha! How little you know. Must I tell all? You brutal man, Inspector. I will.
Look out!
She's dead. In a screech of tires and a flash of headlights, another body lies on the streets of Little Riddle. You knew that your foe was a dangerous one, but now you have a glimpse of the depth of darkness you must defeat. Do you have the strength, the intellect, the audacious courage needed to bring to justice the master criminal at work here? You will find out soon as you prowl the streets, seeking to finally close the Blue Toad Agency file on Little Riddle in Death from Above. So, how well did you do in that episode? Player 1. It wasn't much of an attempt now, was it? Maybe we should have given the case to an infinite number of monkeys.
I'll be right back. I'm back.
Hail and And halloo! The Blue-Toed Murder-Files delves once more into the mysteries of Little Riddle. I will be your narrator and guide as you explore Death from Above. Now then, how many players are there? Choose your... Miss Marjorie Maple, renowned for extracting the confession of Morris Frottler. Welcome, O wise one, to the lovely little village of Little Riddle. However, dig below the sugar-sweet candy-pink surface, seemingly perfect rural gâteau, and you uncover the rotten, oily green meat pie beneath. The chief ingredient of this rancid banquet, murder. The librarian has become the latest victim in the insidious scheming of an as-yet unnamed criminal mastermind. She joins the mayor of Little Riddle, who was killed by the miller, who was then himself murdered. A seemingly separate incident, the burglary of stately Riddle Manor, may yet prove part of the whole. The statue-stealing thief was Moses. He is not talking to the police, and what began as a brief sojourn has become one of the most challenging investigations ever undertaken by the Blue-Toed Agency. Press X and you will be whisked off to that part of the village. Lovely. The funeral for the librarian has just begun as you arrive. We are gathered here today to remember the life of Margaret Tess Madding and to seek understanding in the face of the bleak reality and a universe that often seems not to acknowledge our existence. Let us pray. O great God of 1,000 faces, we who are mere... Funerals are most useful, are they not? Here you get to study the reactions of those left behind as you seek to uncover the guilty party. It seems you're not the only one to think thus.
I thought I might find you here. Listen, I'm not sure about you, and that's a fact. You might have been right in the past, but that just makes me suspicious. I want no more trouble from you, and no more interfering. All right, or I will run you out of town. Sharpish!
But in ageless eons, even death may forget about you and wander off. Go in peace, my children, while you can. Amen.
Amen.
While the inspector moves to intrude upon the grief of the mourners, you notice the vicar beckoning you to a quiet corner of the churchyard. He seems rather glad to see you. I saw you standing over there in the sacred shadows. Did you see who attended, or would you like me to identify them and tell you how they were arranged? Well, it's always better to be sure and certain.
A grave concern.
The librarian's funeral was well attended. Can you work out where everyone stood at the burial? Simply press the X button to continue. Would you like to try that puzzle again? Let's see how you did. That's the one. Hello, do you know I'd quite forgotten about you? All done now? Jolly D. Well, well, well. Not only were you slow, you were incompetent too. Ah, yes, the bronze medal. The very embodiment of our contempt. I wanted to speak to you away from that thrice-damned inspector. I want to help Moses. Something is afoot. Moses would not have done such a heinous thing as he is accused of without a serious motive. He came to me years ago after his wife died, and his son ran away. Something to do with the miller, I believe. He has lived peacefully from then until now. Only his past haunts him enough to stir up such passions. Please investigate on his behalf. But first, let us pray together in the church. I won't take no for an answer. On approaching the church, you see the vicar is struggling with the door and his burden of religious literature. There's a parable in this somewhere, only you're not sure he'd know it. Instead, you offer to help open the door. Ah, bless you, many thanks. The key is old and has come apart, and I can't work out how to put it together again. My eyesight isn't what it used to be, you know. The vicar's old key has broken, and he can't open the church door. Can you figure out the sequence to rebuild it? Are you marvelous or moronic? No, that was wrong. Try it again. You know you can do it. how you did. No, no, that was wrong. Come along now. One more try. Let's find out how you did. Ah, I see. Would you like to try that puzzle again? Oh dear, dear, dear. Giving up so soon? Well, you did your best, such as it was. This is how to do it. Simply press the X button to continue when ready.
Most excellent. Thank you, thank you. I wanted to ask a Samaritan such as yourself, what is your denomination? There's a touch of the dark to you, and I...
Fortunately, before the vicar can continue this distinctly unecumenical discourse, there's the sound of someone approaching the church.
Help to catch us sinners. Why? Ah, there you are. Top-o. Got some important intel for you, what? I found out that... Mommy!
Do you think he's all right?
That block fell from the belfry. There's not a moment to lose. Of course, this wouldn't be much of a story if you caught the suspect red-handed. And as they've probably escaped already, let's see if you've been paying attention. If you don't want to pay attention, then fine. But please spare a thought for my red pen. It only has so much ink, you know. I hope I haven't delayed you too long. I wonder what evidence awaits you in the bell tower. You rush up to the top of the bell tower, but have you been fast enough? Regardless, you've been a little too fast for the vicar.
I can't.
We'll come back to him in a moment. It is dark, dingy, and dreadfully dusty up here. As though confirming long-held suspicions, you discover that the vicar really does have bats in his belfry. Not to mention some worryingly large spiders. While you're here, you decide to ring the bells and alert the village to the Colonel's murder.
Ding dong, the Colonel's dead.
The Colonel lies dead, and the town must be alerted. Can you follow the rules and ring the bells correctly? Let's find out how you did. Shame that. Don't give up yet. Another try, surely. You're giving up. Well, probably for the best. My, wasn't that painful? Look here. This is how it should be done.
My goodness. I say, that was a little much. Still, everyone should have heard your alarm. Now, what is going on over here?
The puffing priest has spotted that one half of the belfry is remarkably clean. Furthermore, some of the high-pitched squeaking isn't bats, but in fact one old bat singing while she polishes a bell.
Oh, hello, dearies. Fancy meeting you up here. Gave me quite the turn, all that bell ringing. Cup of tea? I should have some around. My, oh my. Where am I?
The clearly confused Mrs. Gossip is an unlikely suspect, but still, you ask what she's up to.
Well, dearie, what with poor old Moses, that's him from here, not him from the Bible, in prison. Someone needs to do the cleaning around here. Thought I'd start at the top and work down, like she's always saying. Her from the telly, not her from the lodge. So much to do, though the doctor, lovely man, he's always telling me to take it easy at my age. Always looking out for me. Take it easy, don't fall, watch that hot kettle, not so close to the edge. Lovely man.
The doctor was here?
Doctor, dearie, up here? Where? I'm always seeing the doctor. Lovely man. He gives me pills, lots of pills. Lovely man. Not like that one by the wisteria. No, he's not here. Up here? No, hardly. Lovely man, though. Do you take sugar?
The vicar leads Mrs. Gossip back down the stairs. Something is amiss, and more than just the memory of the increasingly confustigated Mrs. Gossip. You'll need to try to question her again. The Colonel's house needs giving the once-over, and another visit to the doctor is in order. Lots to do. It seems that little is sacred, and former mourners have become concerned gawkers, perhaps as a Pavlovian reaction to the ringing of the bells. Someone is trying, however, to maintain order.
Oi, you lot! Get back now, sharpish! You're hidden away of official police business.
In the way, Here we are in the middle of a murder spree that makes Hannibal Lecter look like a restaurant critic, and you say we're in the way?
You are in the way, matey, and treading on vital police evidence. Unless you're just covering up your own guilt,
Good grief, is that the time? Funny how time flies when you're having fun? Which I wasn't. Hated it. Every minute. Right, yes, got to go.
With him out of the way, the inspector angrily beckons you over.
Hey, you!
Another fine mess.
A crowd of mourners stand between you and Inspector Bragg. Can you figure out the fastest way to get to him? Eeny, meeny, miny. Ah, I see. Don't give up yet. Another try, surely. think not. Come along now, one more try. Let's see how you did. Oh, sorry. Try again, perhaps? You're giving up? Well, probably for the best. My, wasn't that painful? Look here. This is how it should be done.
You see this dead colonel here? Well, he isn't one. Or should I say, he wasn't one. I recognised him straight off as that conman, Bert the Blag. After Lady Snobbish's wealth, no doubt. I was keeping me eye on him, but it seems I won't be able to do that anymore. You keep this halt to yourself, right? And keep me posted on anything you dig up. Sharpish like.
Curiouser and curiouser. Putting this unusual brag effusiveness to one side for the moment, it's time to get on with your investigation. Sometimes there may be more than one place
I'll be
you
right
need to
back.
visit. You can press left and right to explore the other possibilities.
I'm back.
You are hoping to find the doctor alone and are in luck. Telling him about the unfortunate colonel and about Mrs. Gossip. You ask his opinion on her mental state.
What is going on in this village? I thought it somewhere quiet and peaceful, somewhere genteel. Sorry, this has been a rather trying few days. Mrs. Gossip, yes. She's quite the nuisance, she and her sister, but also by far my best customer. I have tried to tell her to rest more, but it's an almost impossible task to get through to her. Her mental state degenerates daily. Very sad. Hardly think her capable of bumping off the old colonel, though.
You mentioned that Mrs. Gossip had thought she'd seen the doctor in the belfry.
Well, there you are, you see. The poor dear saw me at the funeral, of course, but then carried the image with her. As I say, all very sad. Terrible thing about the colonel. I was looking at some of the gravestones after the funeral, still thinking about that history book of mine. I heard the crash and came running. Too late by then, of course. Awful. Accident, perhaps? By the way, how are you? You have been very busy, I understand. Quite dogged. Quite persistent. Your own mental faculties holding up? Here, I have a little test for you. Try this.
Show me the money.
The doctor is concerned that your recent stresses may be harming your health. Will you be able to pass his test? your result is... Oh, please. You're surely not going to let this beat you. Yes, you go back to your needlepoint and leave the puzzles to the real detectives. Here's how I would have done it. Simply press the X button to continue.
Most interesting. Yes. Still, nothing to worry about, I'm sure. I'll do some analysis and you can come and see me tomorrow. I'll have another test for you. Now, please, I have a great deal to do.
What was all that about? It appears you
thought
must
you
wait
had
until
to,
tomorrow
match
to
'em.
find out.
No, you had to, do that.
The constable is looking more than a little distressed by the time you reach the station. In fact, he looks positively shocked.
Thank goodness. Oh, I thought you were Bragg. Oh, I suppose I'll have to tell him eventually. He'll just explode or something.
Knowing time is short, and the inspector is likely on his ponderously plodding way back, you dig deeper.
It's Moses. He's gone. Got out. He escaped. He must have had help. But even then, you should see the state of the wall.
Quickly, you offer your services to assist in the rebuilding of the rather old and decrepit cell wall.
Prison break.
Moses' escape from jail has left a hole where the wall used to be. Will you be able to repair it? Ducks! Drum roll! No, 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 no. Try again, perhaps. You've given up, proving that you're no match for that puzzle. Oh, no, 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 no. Look, here's how. As you were engrossed in rebuilding the crumbling wall, Watson was having a good sniff about. With his help, you work out how Moses escaped and tell the constable.
So, let me get this straight. One person knocked down the old wall, stopping that old clock at 10:05 in the process, and then took off with Moses? Oh, well, that's something I can tell the inspector. How embarrassing.
Ah, yes, the inspector. Better if he doesn't find you here. Inside the Colonel's house, there is certainly a lot of information on Lady Snobbish and her family. But none of the naive innocence of the Colonel is in evidence. There are undoubtedly clues to be uncovered here. After mere moments, Watson uncovers a safe. This should contain something of interest.
The Colonel's research.
The Colonel's safe is sure to contain some information. Can you work out how to open it? What will the ducks reveal? Oh, please. You're surely not going to let this beat you. Try again. What will the ducks reveal?
I think not.
Oh, now, no giving up. Give it another. You've given up, proving that you are no match for that puzzle. No rewards for you. Well, you did your best, such as it was. This is how to do it. In amongst the trinkets and a little money are various notes the counterfeit colonel made on his research. It becomes all too easy to picture the man at work. Well, 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 and the little mole wraps it up. Stone the crows. I always knew the miller was really a snobbish, but I never knew he had a kid. A snobbish kid, too. Last of the line. That's one in the eye for Lady Snobbish. Throw me out, would she? Stuck-up cow. Hope her wrist goes septic. Wonder if he knows he's a snobbish. I bet he does. I wondered if he was anything to do with all them other murders. Bet he was. Tied up loose ends, I think. Keeping it all quiet. Oh, now. There's nasty. Better be careful there. Mind you, there's money here. Maybe blackmail to both of them. Oh, yeah. Ho, 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 Bert. And a Merry Christmas to one and all. It seems the fake colonel may have uncovered quite a conspiracy. Was it worth killing to protect? The death of the colonel has added another notch to the tally that is the little Riddle death count. And the day's investigation has taught you much. I wonder, have you properly learned the lessons of the day? If you don't want to pay attention, then fine. But please spare a thought for my red pen. It only has so much ink, you know. A new day dawns, and your investigation gathers pace. The Doctor, Lady Snobbish, and Mrs. Gossip are all on your to-visit list. As too should be the Vicar, who might be able to help you track down Moses. You had hoped to find the Vicar here, but there's no one to be found. Seeing that someone has been bravely attempting to clean up after yesterday's unpleasantness, you settle down to wait. Your meditative contemplation is interrupted by a surreptitious sound. Yes, that's the one. It seemed to come from behind the altar. Before you can reach it, however... No! The Vicar brown trousers you! The clergyman with the clarion call of command draws you off to one side, rather abruptly.
I mean, so glad you're here. Blessed be. I needed your help with, the collection. Yes, with the collection.
Not at all convinced. You play along with the crazed clergyman.
The church coffers.
Despite all the death and murder in Little Riddle, the Vicar seems only preoccupied by his parishioners' money. Can you help him count his loot? And your result is exactly wrong. Try it again. You know you can do it. Are you correct? Let's see. No, that was wrong. Oh, now, no giving up. Give it. I'm shocked. Really? I never imagined you were such a cowardly quitter. Here's how I would have done it.
Thank you so much for your help. Now, if you'll excuse me.
The vicar motions toward the door, but you nip around him to the altar. Behind it, half in and half out of what you presume to be an old priest hole, is Moses. The vicar quickly puts himself between you and the cowering groundskeeper. You point out that the vicar's harmless handyman robbed Snobbish Manor. Who knows what else he's capable of?
Don't you see? He has been drawn from the path by some terrible influence. He claims it is his son, but I fear a darker force. I should have locked away the books. He wasn't ready for the truths he saw.
Your mind is a whirl with a great many questions as you leave Moses in the charge of the vicar and continue your investigations. Interviews with Lady Snobbish have been prickly affairs. Revelations about the Colonel win you no additional favor when you ask if he had mentioned anything about what he had found.
I'm sure I have no idea what that charlatan might have believed he'd discovered. I did not find his company tolerable. Now we know why, of course. Breeding will out. I'm sure no one will mourn his passing. Quite frankly, good riddance. Dreadful-like. Now, you may assist me a second time, as you did before with my bees. I strained my wrist the other day and find myself somewhat indisposed. Look here.
The bees in the ladies' garden are once again causing trouble. Can you help her find out where they are located?
Now,
did you do? No, that was wrong. Would you like to try that puzzle again? A cunning tactic, making yourself look stupid so the villain will relax their guard. Stand aside, dear heart, and watch how it should be done. Simply press the X.
So simple. Now, if that will be all.
You once again produce the picture of past Snobbish Manor residents. Can she shed any light on the identities of the individuals in the newspaper clipping the agency sent you a while ago?
That is my late husband's grandfather. I married into the family, you see, which is why there's no family resemblance. Now, I simply must escape.
You push one last question. The Colonel had mentioned another one. Were there any other Snobbish family members?
Such impertinence! No, there are not. My husband... Leave. Now, please be so kind as to not return. I do not wish to have to engage the services of that unpleasant inspector to insist on my behalf.
Well, that appears to be an end to that, though not to your investigation. It is with a degree of trepidation that you once again enter the doily-covered world of Mrs. Gossip. You ask about the previous day, only to have your worst fears confirmed.
I was just saying that I don't remember much about yesterday. My memory isn't what it was. Something about the Colonel. That's the one with the one who... Would you like a biscuit, dearie? They're on the freshwater cods.
Mrs. Gossip's mix-up.
Mrs. Gossip appears more senile every day, and has even started referring to her furniture by strange names. How did you do? No, that was wrong. Try it again. You know you can't. Oh, did the nasty puzzle scare the ickle player? That was a tad ham-fisted, wasn't it? Now, observe the master at work. Simply press the X button to... You're about to make your excuses when you remember the photograph you discovered at the windmill some time ago. You show it to her again, hoping beyond hope that she might remember something.
Oh, now, wherever did you find that, dearie? My. That's Mrs. Wentworth. Lovely woman. Very sad. Oh, and that's little Charlie, their son. Well, her son. Bless, such a serious little boy. Not like him up the road by the tailor, not the one by the allotments. Although he was a handful at times. She was married to Moses. That's the one at the church. Oh, that didn't go well. She had a bit of a roving eye, you know. Roved onto the miller for quite a while. Oh, now there I am. That reminds me.
The information is excellent, but the price is another hour at Mrs. Gossip's. There is something bubbling away at the back of your mind now. However, it will have to simmer a while yet. Your investigation must continue. The doctor had said he wanted to conduct another little test today. Frankly, you're not sure what he's on about, but the morning's work is leaving you with something of a headache. Perhaps the doctor can help.
I've been analyzing your first test, but I need a comparison. Please indulge me.
Medical dressing.
The doctor has another test with which to assess the state of your mental faculties. Can you work out the puzzle he has set for you?
Dr. Red, Dr. Green, Dr. Blue were mentioned together. Do you notice that real women red, green, and blue coats illuminated? True, said the doctor with the green coat. While twiddling his brown mustache, Dr. Red said, but none of our coats match our name. Kitty coat is not blue. What's the color of the doctor's coat? Oh.
Are you marvelous or moronic? No.
Okay.
Come along now. One more try. Are you correct? Let's see. No. Would you like to try that puzzle again? Oh dear, dear, dear. Giving up so soon? Were you paying any attention? Watch me.
Gracious. Well, I'd never imagined I'd get such clear results from the second test. You do understand that for someone of your profession, of your supposed caliber, that really was distinctly below par. It's understandable, really, the pressure you're under at the moment. Exhaustion is inevitable. Here, I would like to help. Take these pills. Take 2 before bed. In the morning, you should wake up feeling entirely rested. Any problems, come back and see me tomorrow. Not in the morning, though. I have an appointment with Lady Snobbish. Good day now.
It seems at least one person in Little Riddle understands the mental strain your calling can impose. You offer your thanks and depart. With all the suspects interviewed, have you learned what you need? Before you retire to your room, I want to see if you've been paying attention. Let's see if you can answer these questions. It's a shame you got one wrong, but mistakes do happen. Weary of both my questions and the case as a whole, you decide to return to the hotel and get some rest. It has been an exhausting day. You return to your hotel room, and after a light meal, you retire early to bed. Though you are weary beyond words, your mind will not let you rest. Haunting images of the unavenged dead and snatches of conversations whirl and eddy in the confused currents of your consciousness.
The miller was really a snobbish.
Oh, and that's little Charlie.
A snobbish kid, too. Last of the line.
You remember the pills the doctor gave you. Taking them, you lie down once again. This time, sleep takes you. It is not a peaceful rest, however. Your detective instincts believe that your subconscious is trying to tell you something. Can you make sense of the nonsense? What? No! Did you show intellect or idiocy? Oh dear. Don't give up yet. Another try. You're giving up. Well, probably for the best. Oh, no, 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 no. Look, here's how. You wake suddenly, the gift of revelation slipping from your grasp as a fog descends. You feel detached, removed, distant from reality. Sheer effort of will pushes past your morning malaise, and you remember the dream.
Wonder how much this would be worth to her to keep me quiet.
Their son. Well, her son.
I wonders if he was anything to do with all them other murders.
Would you like a biscuit, dearie?
Adrenaline surges. Your intellect awakens. The last piece drops into place, revealing the truth where once there was only a fractured image. To the police station! Bursting into the police station, a little disheveled after your disturbed night, you are nonetheless determined to pass on the benefit of your nocturnal deductions. Go on then, convince me. Again. Of the four suspects, Mrs. Gossip was clearly the least likely. Could someone so frail move the block that killed the Colonel? Or is Mrs. Gossip's mental frailty just an act? The old dear mentioned the doctor when caught at the scene of the crime. Was he even there? If he was, had he the murder? Is it likely he was on Bert the Blag's blackmail list? Lady Snobbish certainly had motive. After all, Bert the Blag was after her money, perhaps even blackmailing her. Can she be linked to the crime scene and to the method of dispatch? Moses was freed from his cell thanks to the vicar and a crumbling town jail. Was this in time to murder the Colonel? 4 suspects and a wealth of evidence that points to but one of them. Can you deduce the culprit and prove yourself worthy of your role as a blue-toed detective? Player 1, you get to choose first. Select your villain by pressing the corresponding button on the controller. In the end, the final piece of this puzzle came in a dream. Together with all the other evidence, it confirms the guilt of the Doctor. The murder took place at 10 o'clock. Moses did not escape until 5 minutes past the fatal hour. Mrs. Gossip and Lady Snobbish can be dismissed by the frailty of both. Mrs. Gossip through simple age, and Lady Snobbish because of her injured wrist. Neither could have moved the block of stone. Only the Doctor had no strong alibi.
I'm sorry, but just having no alibi ain't good enough. What was his motive?
You tell the inspector everything you have found out about the Doctor's true ancestry, and the fact that the Colonel had uncovered the same information.
Hold on. Let me get this right. You're saying that he's a Snobbish and he killed Bert the Blag, because
him? You tell him yes, that is the case, and that Bert the Blag had also worked out that the doctor was tied in with the other murders and wrongdoings in Little Riddle. Inspector seems less than sure, however.
This is all a bit slight, I have to say. However, you've been right in the past. Let's bring the doctor in and ask him a few questions. See how he reacts. Constable should be here in a minute. Well, what's up with you?
You have indeed gone a whiter shade of pale as you abruptly recall the doctor's last words to you yesterday.
Not in the morning, though. I have an appointment with Lady Snobbish.
He clearly intends to claim his snobbish legacy by any means possible. Convincing the inspector of the lady's peril, you rush to the manor. There isn't a moment to lose. You used your talents to select the correct suspect. Many congratulations on a job well done. You burst into the manor.
Your ladyship!
Great heavens! Inspector, explain yourself. This instant.
Sorry, Mum. We heard you scream.
I appear to have cold equipment this morning. My stethoscope, you see. Just what do you think you're doing, Inspector?
Nothing, Mum. Sorry, Mum. I'll just be going. It won't happen again. I can assure you of that.
Inspector, I got a message.
What?
Constable, I believe we have a spare cell at the moment. It will be occupied for the rest of today by this. I'm not in the habit of being made a fool of. You'll get out of my sight, sharpish!
Well, that didn't go entirely according to plan, did it? Even as you languish in a police cell, the perpetrator of the foul deeds that have rocked Little Riddle to its very foundations walks abroad. What mischief, what mayhem, what fiendish felonies can he commit before you are freed? Will justice be done and the Blue Toad Agency file on Little Riddle closed? Or will evil prevail while you rot in prison? Find out when you return in The Riddles of the Past. So, how well did you do in that episode? Player 1. That was a little rubbish.
This. Okay, that'd be it for today. Let's see who we're gonna raid. We are going to raid Rishi BT. Let's raid. Now see you guys tomorrow or Thursday. I'm not sure. And morning, good afternoon, good night. See you tomorrow or Thursday, I guess. Bye.